She was just a maid, a black woman looking for work in a billionaire's mansion. She was just a girl, paralyzed after a tragic accident, abandoned by smiles and laughter. Her mother, a powerful businesswoman, had tried everything money could buy. But the moment she caught her maid dancing with her paralyzed daughter, what happened next shocked everyone. This isn't just a story. It's a lesson about love, hope, and a healing that no amount of wealth can purchase. Catherine Williams was known in Los Angeles as one of the most successful women in the real estate business. With offices stretching from New York to San Francisco, she was constantly on planes and meetings and signing deals worth millions. To the outside world, she was a definition of power, a billionaire businesswoman who seemed to have it all. But her greatest pain was at home. Her only daughter, Maya, once a bright and playful child, had been paralyzed 2 years earlier after a tragic car accident. Both Catherine and her husband had been in the car, driving Maya home from piano lessons. A sudden crash left Catherine with minor injuries, but her husband lost his life instantly. Maya survived, but the accident left her paralyzed from the waist down. At just 8 years old, she had been forced into a wheelchair, robbed of the childhood she once knew, and Catherine was left grappling with guilt and grief. Catherine's guilt was unbearable. She blamed herself, though she never admitted it aloud. In her attempt to compensate, she had hired the best doctors, the most expensive therapists, and a long line of maids and nannies to care for Maya when her work pulled her away. But none lasted. Some quit after a few weeks, saying Maya was too withdrawn. Others Catherine fired because they treated their job like a duty, not a calling. Now, as she looked out over manicured lawns of her Beverly Hills mansion, Catherine wondered if she would ever find someone who could break through Maya's silence. That morning, a soft knock came at the door. The head butler, Mr. Harris, announced, "Ma'am, the new applicant is here." Standing nervously in the grand hallway was Gloria Johnson, a black woman in her 30s, dressed simply in a faded blue dress, her hands clutching a worn handbag. She had kind eyes, the sort that spoke of patience and resilience. "You're here for the maid position?" Catherine asked, her tone sharp but weary. "Yes, ma'am," Gloria replied. "I've cared for children before. I know how hard it can be, but I also believe every child deserves joy, no matter their circumstances." Her words made Catherine pause. Most applicants spoke only of hours and pay. This woman spoke of joy. She led Gloria upstairs into Maya's room. The girl sat in her wheelchair by the window, staring outside as sunlight spilled across her pale face. Her golden hair framed blue eyes that seemed hollow, as though the accident had stolen not only her legs, but her laughter too. "Maya," Catherine said softly, "this is Gloria. She'll be helping around the house." Gloria knelt beside her, lowering her voice as though she was speaking to something fragile. "Hello, Maya. I don't need you to talk to me today. I'll wait. When you're ready, just let me know you hear me." Maya's eyes flickered for the briefest moment. She didn't speak, didn't smile, but she looked at her. For a child who had shut out the world for months, even that was a miracle. Catherine noticed from the doorway, her heart tightening. Maybe, just maybe, this woman was different. The first week with Gloria had been a test of patience. Maya was quiet, stubbornly withdrawn, refusing to engage with her the same way she had done with all the others before her. But unlike the previous maids, Gloria didn't take it personally. She didn't push. She didn't rush. Instead, she simply stayed present. Every morning, she greeted her with the same gentle words. "Good morning, Maya. I'm happy to see you." Even if she didn't respond, Gloria carried on as though her silence still mattered. When she cleaned her room, she hummed softly, old church hymns her grandmother used to sing back in Georgia. When she served her meals, she told little stories about her childhood, about the games she played barefoot in the hot summer sun, or the mischief she and her siblings would get into. Most days, Maya just stared past her, but Gloria noticed things others might have missed. The slight flicker in her eyes when she laughed, the way her fingers tightened just a little on the wheels of her chair when she sang. She was listening, even if she wasn't ready to let Gloria know. One afternoon, after Catherine left for a business trip to Chicago, Gloria found Maya sitting by the window again, watching other children play in the distance. Her jaw tightened every time she saw them running, climbing, or chasing a ball across the lawn. Gloria walked over and sat beside her. She didn't speak right away. Instead, she looked out the window, too, as though she saw what she saw. Then she whispered, "It hurts, doesn't it? Watching them do the things you used to do." Maya's eyes darted toward her, startled. No one had ever spoken the truth so plainly before. "I know it hurts," Gloria continued, her voice tender but steady. "But pain doesn't mean life is over. It just means you have to find a new way of living." For a long time there was silence. Then, in the faintest whisper, Maya muttered her first word to her. "I can't." Gloria's chest tightened. It wasn't much, but it was a crack in the wall she had built around herself. She leaned closer, her eyes meeting hers. "Then I'll help you until you can," she said. From that day forward, something shifted. Maya didn't suddenly open up, but she stopped turning her chair away when Gloria entered. She listened when she spoke. Sometimes, Gloria even caught her following the rhythm of her humming with the slightest tap of her fingers on the armrest. Late one evening, while tidying the living room, Gloria picked up a small wooden toy guitar that had been abandoned in a corner. She strummed its strings playfully, humming a soft tune. She didn't notice Maya at first, watching from the doorway in her chair. Her lips parted slightly, as if a forgotten memory stirred inside her. Gloria looked up, caught her gaze, and smiled. "Do you like music, Maya?" she asked gently. She didn't answer, but she didn't turn away either. And for Gloria, that was more than enough to keep going. One afternoon, as sunlight poured through the tall windows, Gloria decided to do something bold. She set the little radio on the dresser, letting a gentle tune float into the quiet room. At first, Maya frowned. She had grown used to silence, the kind that wrapped around her like a heavy blanket. But Gloria didn't ask her to move, didn't force her to engage. She just began swaying slowly to the rhythm as she dusted the shelves. When she turned, she caught her watching. "Don't laugh at me," she teased softly, twirling with the feather duster in her hand. "I know I look silly." Maya's lips twitched. A small sound escaped her, a rusty, broken laugh, but a laugh nonetheless. Encouraged, Gloria stepped closer, lifting her hand gently. "You don't need your legs to dance, Maya. You've got music in your heart." She tapped her fingers against Gloria's palm to the beat. At first she resisted, but soon her hand moved with hers. Clumsy, hesitant, but real, Gloria swayed side to side, guiding her hands in rhythm. For the first time since the accident, Maya laughed fully, her eyes bright and alive. "You're dancing," she whispered, smiling through her tears. Maya looked down at her still legs, then back at her, and for the first time she whispered, "I can still dance?" "Yes, Maya," Gloria said, kissing the top of her golden hair. "You can still dance." Unbeknownst to them both, that small living room moment was only the beginning of something far bigger. Catherine's flight from San Francisco landed a day earlier than scheduled. Tired but eager to surprise Maya, she drove straight from the airport to the mansion. Mr. Harris, the butler, wasn't expecting her until the next day, so no one announced her arrival. As Catherine stepped through the front door, she paused. Music, soft jazz, was drifting through the house. Confused, she followed the sound into the living room, and then she froze. There, in the middle of the room, was Gloria, laughing, spinning gently, holding Maya's hands as her wheelchair swayed in rhythm. Her face was glowing, her eyes alive, her laughter echoing off the marble walls. Catherine's breath caught. Her daughter, the girl who had refused to speak, to smile, to hope, was laughing, dancing, with the maid. For a moment, jealousy pricked her heart. She had spent millions on specialists, on therapy, on anything that might bring her daughter back, and nothing had worked. Yet here was Gloria, a woman she had almost dismissed, achieving the impossible with nothing but patience and love. Maya noticed her first. Her laughter faltered, her eyes wide with fear. "Mom!" she whispered. Gloria turned, startled, her hand still on Maya's. Her face paled. "Mrs. Williams, Catherine's eyes locked on Gloria's, her chest rising and falling as emotions battled within her. Anger? Shame? Relief? Gratitude? She didn't say a word. She simply stood there, watching. The room was heavy with silence, broken only by the faint tune still playing on the radio. And in that suspended moment, no one knew what Catherine Williams would do next. Catherine's chest tightened as she stood in the doorway, unable to move. Maya's laughter, the first in months, filled the room, a sound so precious it pierced her heart. She was alive again, glowing with joy, and it was all because of Gloria. Tears welled in Catherine's eyes. All her money, all her efforts, all the specialists and therapists, none had brought her back to this. And yet here she was, laughing, dancing, living in a way Catherine hadn't dared to hope for. Maya froze mid-sway, her eyes flicking nervously toward her mother. Gloria's hand stayed gently on hers, her face pale with concern. Mrs. Williams, Catherine took a slow step forward, then another, until she was kneeling beside her daughter. Her hands shook as she brushed a lock of hair from her forehead. I didn't know how to help you, Maya, she whispered, voice cracking. I thought I could fix everything with money, with doctors, but I forgot the most important thing. I forgot to just be with you. Maya's small fingers lingered in Gloria's. She looked at her mother, eyes wide, unsure. Then she offered a tentative smile. Without a word, Catherine did something no one expected. She held Maya's hands, letting Gloria guide them to the rhythm of the soft jazz, still playing on the radio. Together, mother, daughter, and Maid swayed gently. Catherine's laughter joined theirs, breaking years of tension, fear, and sorrow. For the first time since the accident, the mansion felt alive. Warmth, joy, and love filled every corner. When the music faded, Catherine stood, still holding her daughter's hands, and looked at Gloria with gratitude and awe. You've given her something I couldn't, she said softly. I want you to stay not just as a maid, but as part of our family. Gloria blinked, stunned. I only wanted her to smile, ma'am. You gave her more than a smile, Catherine said, tears streaming. You gave us both hope. You reminded me what truly matters. That night, as Maya slept peacefully, Catherine sat quietly beside Gloria. No words were needed. The unspoken bond of love, trust, and shared joy said it all. Catherine realized something she would never forget. True miracles aren't bought. They're nurtured with patience, kindness, and a heart willing to care. The morning after that unforgettable evening, the mansion felt different. Even the sunlight streaming through the grand windows seemed softer, warmer, as though it had sensed a shift within its walls. Catherine sat at the kitchen table, a cup of coffee untouched before her, thinking about the night before. She had watched her daughter laugh and move in a way she hadn't seen since before the accident. She had joined them, awkwardly at first, but completely in the moment, and she had seen something she never expected. Not just Maya's joy, but her own heart opening. Gloria entered quietly, carrying a tray of breakfast. She placed it gently in front of Catherine and Maya. Maya's eyes lit up. Thank you, Gloria, she whispered, her voice soft but confident. Catherine watched her, amazed. The shy, withdrawn girl who had barely spoken was now saying thank you without prompting. Her heart swelled. She realized she had been so consumed by work and guilt that she had forgotten what it meant to simply be there for her daughter. She had treated every problem as something money could fix, when what Maya needed most was presence, warmth, and someone who saw her, not just her paralysis. Turning to Gloria, Catherine smiled through tears. I want you to stay, Gloria, not just as a maid, but as part of our family. You've done more for Maya than I ever could have imagined. Gloria's eyes widened, a mixture of humility and emotion. I just wanted to help her be happy, she whispered. You've given her happiness and reminded me what's truly important, Catherine said softly. Over the next few weeks, Catherine made real changes. She cut back on long business trips, delegating some responsibilities so she could spend more time at home. She joined Maya and Gloria in small daily routines, reading bedtime stories, helping with art projects, and even try her hand at music sessions. She was no longer just a provider. She was present, fully invested in her daughter's world. Maya flourished under this new rhythm. She laughed more, spoke more, and even found the courage to participate in adaptive physical therapy sessions without fear. Gloria remained by her side, guiding, encouraging, and teaching her that joy could exist even in the midst of hardship. One afternoon, Catherine watched them from the doorway, Gloria guiding Maya through a gentle dance, her wheelchair moving in rhythm, her eyes sparkling. Catherine's heart swelled with gratitude. For the first time, she understood the true value of love and care. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about perfection or control. It was about presence, patience, and human connection, the very thing she had neglected for far too long. And in that moment, Catherine silently promised herself she would never let the demands of business overshadow the needs of her daughter again. The mansion was no longer just a house filled with luxury. It was a home alive with laughter, love, and hope, a place where Maya could finally thrive. Catherine watched Gloria and Maya from the doorway again, but this time she noticed something she hadn't before. Gloria's eyes glistened with quiet determination, as if she had a plan beyond simply cheering Maya up. After dinner, Catherine tried to talk to Gloria about a raise, maybe a bonus, or even giving her more responsibilities. But Gloria interrupted gently. "Mrs. Williams," she said, her voice calm but firm, "I don't need money. I don't need a title. What I want is something far more important." Catherine blinked. "And what is that?" Gloria smiled softly. "I want Maya to experience life beyond these walls, to feel like any other child. I want her to go outside, play, make friends, and not feel trapped by what happened to her." Catherine felt her chest tighten. "But how will that happen?" Gloria looked at her daughter, kneeling beside her wheelchair. "I'll take her to the park tomorrow. We'll have music, laughter, freedom. And I'll be there every step until she feels ready to go on her own." The next day, Catherine arrived at the park secretly, wanting to see how this would unfold. And then she saw it. Maya, laughing uncontrollably, moving her wheelchair with skill Gloria had taught her, spinning in rhythm with her, waving at other children, and even daring to clap her hands. Tears rolled down Catherine's cheeks. She realized she had expected gratitude, formal respect, maybe even humility from Gloria, but instead, Gloria gave her daughter the one thing no money, no specialist, no schedule could ever give: life, joy, and freedom. Catherine approached them, but Gloria simply nodded, smiling. "I told you, Mrs. Williams. I don't need thanks. Love doesn't count titles or money. It just acts." At that moment, Catherine understood Gloria's selfless love transcended race, wealth, and expectation. She hadn't just danced with Maya. She had saved her childhood. Do you believe Gloria was sent into their lives for a reason? Comment your answer, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.